Relationships today aren't failing because love is dying. They're failing because awareness never started. We're choosing connections from instinct, chemistry, and old emotional patterns, not from consciousness, compatibility, or actual alignment. This is why divorce is high. This is why breakups repeat. This is why people keep choosing the same person with a different face and wondering why it always collapses. Let's break the pattern. Most relationships begin with one thing: chemistry. The spark, the intensity, the "I feel alive again." It feels cosmic, like destiny. But that feeling isn't fate. It's your nervous system lighting up with something familiar. And familiar doesn't mean healthy. It just means it matches your old wiring, your unhealed patterns, your childhood blueprints. That initial spark, it's your nervous system saying, "I know this energy. It feels good." But here's the truth no one likes to talk about. Chemistry has an expiration date. It always fades. That's part of biology. The brain stops dumping the bonding chemicals after the early phase. And this is where reality begins. When the chemical high drops, you finally meet the actual relationship. Communication, values, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, maturity. Most couples never built any of this. So when the high fades, everything feels heavier, confusing, or off. Not because the relationship is broken, but because the foundation was never built. That's why about 40% of first marriages end in divorce. People don't break up because love wasn't real. They break up because chemistry was doing all the work. When things feel disconnected, people assume, "I picked the wrong person," so they leave and jump into the next spark. Except 60 to 67% of second marriages end the same way. Why? Because the chooser hasn't changed, the pattern hasn't changed, the level of awareness hasn't changed. It's just a new face running the same old script. The next spark hits. The brain lights up again, and the cycle repeats. Aliveness, attachment, collapse. People confuse intensity with compatibility. They confuse chemistry with love. But here's the raw, cosmic truth. We don't pick partners with consciousness. We pick them with our unhealed patterns. Attraction often comes from familiar chaos, unhealed wounds, survival instincts, trauma bonding. Emotional memory, chemistry can be a recognition, not a match. That's why even third marriages struggle. 70 to 73% end in divorce. It isn't the person. It's the pattern choosing the person. Not everyone leaves the loop. Some people stay, not out of love, but out of fear, comfort, habit, or survival. They stay because the known pain feels safer than the unknown future. Familiar misery becomes a form of stability. These relationships don't break. They just go numb. Two people sharing a life but not sharing themselves. No spark, no growth, no intimacy, just emotional autopilot. And because nothing explodes, they convince themselves this is normal. But staying in a dead connection is just another version of the chemistry loop. It's choosing familiarity over awareness. Intensity feels like truth, but intensity is just the ego chasing what it never healed. The soul isn't trying to recreate the spark, it's trying to recreate the lesson. Real connection starts where chemistry ends, in presence, in self-awareness, in emotional responsibility. This is where intimacy actually begins. But many people never reach this stage. They leave when the work begins, or they stay but shut down. You don't break the cycle by finding someone better. You break it by becoming a conscious chooser. The spark is temporary, but growth is permanent.